Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. The Koran Interpreted by A.J.Arberry. Chapter 13 is called Thunder, which is an appropriate translation. In the name of God, the Merciful, the Compassionate. Aleph Lam Mim Ra. Those are the signs of the book, and that which has been sent down to thee from thy Lord is the truth, but most men do not believe. And the abbreviated or separated letters that continue, following the Kabbalah theme before the Kabbalah was written, the ones that have more than just abbreviated letters, you follow the descent down the body. God is he who raised up the heavens without pillars you can see, and then he set himself upon the throne. He situated the throne. It's not like in Islam we don't believe that there's a throne that supports God. He subjected the sun and the moon, each one running to a term stated. He directs the affair. He distinguishes the signs. Happily you will have faith in the encounter with your Lord. It is he who stretched out the earth and set therein firm mountains and rivers, and of every fruit he placed there 2 kinds, covering the day with the night. Surely in that are signs for people who reflect. And on the earth are tracts neighboring each to each, and gardens of vines and fields sown, and palms and pears, and palms single, watered with one water, and some of them we prefer in produce above others. Surely in that are signs for a people who understand. If thou wouldest wonder, surely wonderful is their saying. What then? What, when we are dust, shall we indeed then be raised up again in new creation? Those are they that disbelieved in their Lord. Those on their necks are fetters. Those shall be the inhabitants of the fire, therein dwelling forever. Those would have thee hasten the evil ere the good. Yet there have passed away before them examples. Thy Lord is forgiving to men for all their evil doing, and thy Lord is terrible in retribution. So God can forgive for all, but remember this way of thinking. We're not moralizing the negative and the positive and the bad and the good like that, they're receiving evil, they're receiving bad because they did bad, and yes, it's karmic in a moral sense, but there's a difference. The unbelievers say, why has a sign not been sent down upon him from his Lord? And thou art only a warner and a guide to every people. God knows what every female bears, and the womb shrinking and swelling. Everything with him has its measure, the knower of the unseen and the visible. The all-great, the exalted alike of you. Is he who conceals his saying, and he who proclaims it, he who hides himself in the night, and he who sallies by day. He has angels before him and behind him, watching over him by God's command. God changes not what is in a people until they change what is in themselves. Whensoever God desires evil for a people, there is no turning it back. Apart from him, they have no protector. Some of these passages better translated as harm, but that's God doesn't desire evil for anybody. But this fixes the messianic thing that the people got to work for it themselves, and then God meets them halfway. It's not, things got to get so. There was a place in eastern Oregon between Pendleton and LeGrand, Oregon, where there was somebody who didn't want to plant trees. My father worked for someone who, had the place for a couple decades or a few decades or something, and he refused to plant trees because Jesus was showing up too soon. And it's like, you could have had a very workable orchard at this point. No, Apart from him, they have no protector. It is he who shows you the lightning for fear and hope, and produces the heavy clouds. The thunder proclaims his praise, and the angels in awe of him. He looses the thunderbolts and smites with them whomsoever he will. Yet they will dispute about God, who is mightier in power. To him is the call of truth, and those upon whom they call apart from him answer them nothing. But it is as a man who stretches out his hands to water, that it might reach his mouth, and it reaches it not. The prayer of the unbelievers goes only astray. One of the determinatives I kind of like in the Egyptian hieroglyphs is the guy that puts his hand in his mouth, which means more than eating, apparently. Things with speech and all that. The prayer of the unbelievers goes only astray. To God bow all who are in the heavens and the earth, willingly or unwillingly, as do their shadows, also in the morning and the evenings. Fall prostrate upon 7 points. Okay. One of the 7 points, but I didn't want to exactly point the camera at certain places, as their shadows also in the morning. Say, who is the Lord of the heavens and of the earth? Say, God. Say, then have you taken unto you others besides him to be your protectors, even such as have no power to profit or hurt themselves? Say, are the blind and the seeing man equal? Are the shadows and the light equal? Or have they ascribed to God associates who created as he created, so that creation is all alike to them? Say, God is the creator of everything, and he is the one, the omnipotent. He sends down out of heaven water, and the wadis flow each in its measure, and the torrent carries a swelling scum, and out of that over which they kindle fire, being desirous of ornament or wear, out of that rises a scum the like of it. So God strikes both the true and the false. As for the scum, it vanishes as jetsam, and what profits men abides in the earth. Even so God strikes his similitudes. For those who answer their Lord the reward most fair, and those who answer him not, if they possessed all that is in the earth, and the like with it, they would offer it for their ransom. Those there shall be the evil reckoning, and their refuge shall be Gehenna, an evil cradling. Cradling for the evil, reckoning for the evil would be an appropriate enough of a translation, because but remember the name, the masculine refers to the male and the female, and it also refers to neither in the case of God. But see, we have this alchemy. The physical alchemy is a metaphor for a clearly pointed out metaphor for the physical alchemy, and that's one of the things that one goes through during Ramadan. What is he who knows what is sent down to thee from thy Lord? Is the truth like him who is blind? Only men possessed of minds remember, who fulfill God's covenant, and break not the compact, who join what God commanded shall be joined, and fear their Lord, and dread the evil reckoning. Patient men, desirous of the face of their Lord, who perform the prayer, and expend of that we have provided them secretly and in public, and who advert evil with good. And there shall be the ultimate abode, gardens of Eden, which they shall enter, and those who are righteous of their fathers, and their wives, and their seed shall enter them, and the angels shall enter unto them from every gate. Peace be upon you, for that you were patient. Fair is the ultimate abode, and those who break the covenant of God after his compact, and who snap what God has commanded to be joined, and who work corruption in the earth, there shall be the curse, and there's the evil abode. So you hear a lot of these demon worshippers, and maybe they don't admit they're demon worshippers or whatever. They're cursing, but you know, who's going to get the curse in the end, right? God outspreads and straightens his provision unto whomsoever he will. And they rejoice in this present life, and this present life besides the world to come is not but passing enjoyment. The unbelievers say, why has a sign not been sent down upon him from his Lord? Say, God leads astray whomever he will, and he guides to him all who are penitent, and those who believe, and their hearts being at rest in God's remembrance, and in God's remembrance are at rest the hearts of those who believe and do righteous deeds, and theirs is blessedness and a fair resort. There's a difference of what you remember, and all life can be whatever you believe. All life can be spiritual, and whatever you believe is supposed to be acted out in life. It's not some secret thing. It's expressed somehow. Thus we have sent thee among a nation before which other nations have passed away to recite to them that we have revealed to thee, and yet they disbelieve in thee. All-merciful say, he's my Lord, there's no God but he. In him I have put my trust, and in him I turn. If only a Koran, whereby the mountains were set in motion, or the earth were cleft, or the dead were spoken to. Nay, but God's is the affair altogether. Did not the believers know that if God had willed, he would have guided men altogether? And still the unbelievers are smitten by a shattering for what they have wrought, or it alights nigh their habitation until God's promise comes, and God will not fail the tryst. Messengers indeed were scoffed at before thee, and I respited the unbelievers, then I seized them, and how is my retribution? What? He who stands over every soul for what it has earned, and yet they ascribe to God associates. Say, name them, or will you tell him what he knows not in the earth, or in apparent words say, nay, but decked out fair to the unbelievers is their devising, and they are barred from the way, and whomsoever God leads astray, no guide has he. God lets go astray. He's trying to mimic the message of the Bible in some parts that doesn't quite catch what the Quran's saying. For them is a chastisement in the present life, and the chastisement of the world to come is yet more grievous, and they have none to defend them from God. The likeness of paradise is that is promised to the God-fearing, beneath it rivers flow. Its produce is eternal, and its shade, that is the requital of the God-fearing, and the requital of the unbelievers is the fire. And those to whom we have given the book rejoice in what is sent down unto thee, and of the parties some reject some of it. Say, I have only been commanded to serve God, and not to associate aught with him. To him I call, and to him I turn. Even so we have sent it down as an Arabic judgment. If thou dost follow their caprices, after the knowledge that has come to thee, thou shalt have no protector against God, no defender. And we sent messengers before thee, and we assigned to them wives and seed, children. And it was not for any messengers to bring a sign, but by God's leave. Every term as a book God blots out, and he establishes whomsoever he will, and with him is the essence of the book. Whether we show thee a part of that we promise them, or we call thee to us, it is thine only to deliver the message, and ours the reckoning. Have they not seen how we come to the land, diminishing it in its extremities. God judges, none repels his judgment. He is swift at the reckoning. Those that were before them devised, but God's is the devising altogether. He knows what every soul earns. The unbeliever shall assuredly know. Those will be the ultimate abode. The unbelievers say, thou art not an envoy. Say, God suffices as a witness between me and you, and whosoever possesses knowledge of the book. And one of the things that we know nowadays when it comes to this, what this chapter of Thunder has to say about nature and stuff like this, is that there's these cycles in nature about the land and all that, the high parts become low, the low parts become high, deserts become rainforest, other ways around, the salty areas not so salty anymore. There's a lot of process in how this planet works, but I am trying to find you here, since the prostration verses 7, 206, 13, 15, 16, 50, 17, 100, 19, 58, 22, 18, 22, 77, 25, 60, 27, 6, 26, 32, 15, 38, 24, 41, 38, 53, 62, 84, 21, 96, 19. And there's other options of what to say, but Sajada wajhi lalli khalaqahu wa sawarahu wa shaka sam ahu wa basarahu tabarakallahu ahsanu khaliqin. And that's from Muslim Volume 4, number 201. And glory and my face to thee who created it and formed the image of it, and divide, and I hear, and I hears it, and and who hears it and sees it, and blessed, and the blessings of God and perfection of the most perfect of creators. Well, you got the spirit of what's being axed upon the person who is prostrating. So